Okay, first thing we're going to click Add Roles and Features. We're setting up DHCP here today. We're going to hit Next. This is our local server. We're going to want to select that from the pool. All we're really doing is explaining how to do it. We're going to check the box there for DHCP, and we're going to hit Add Features. Then we're just going to hit Next. Make sure you have a static IP address on your server. I'm just hitting Next. I'm going to hit this Restart if you want to automatically restart. Wouldn't recommend that in production, but we're not in production. We're just in a lab, so we're just gonna let this thing run, and then when it's done, we'll come back. Alright, so we finished. First thing we're gonna want to do here is click the Complete DHCP configuration. We're setting this up because we're gonna actually do some more labs. Gonna set up a RODC, read-only domain controller, and in order to do that, we really need to get a full lab set up here. So I'm putting in my credentials. What we're doing is basically finishing the setup of the DHCP server, which may be obvious, but that's what we're doing here. So I'm going to hit close. Now we got DHCP. You can see the role here. It's installed. It's running, but we're going to actually configure it. So I'm just going to hit start and type in DHCP. There's multiple ways to get into this. This is the way I'm doing it. So I'm going to open that up there. And then we're going to expand this management console. What we're going to want to do is create a scope. So I'm going to do new scope, and I'm going to just call it, we're going to make it a 192.168.1.x. I'm just going to call it that. You can name it whatever you want, put any sort of description you want. This is going to be the scope, the range of addresses that it will distribute. Really simple. We're going to distribute from 10 to 99. We can also, if we hit next, add exclusions. So if we don't want certain addresses to be in there, we just add them. For example, if this server or something was in that range, we obviously wouldn't want to assign that. We get a conflict. We're going to change this we'll leave this lease duration at 8 days outside of the scope of this, but that's basically what it is. And we do want to configure this scope options. This is going to be what things is it going to hand out to the clients. First one is a router. This will help the clients get out to the internet. Our router here is 1.1. I'm going to hit next, and then the server name, we're looking at DNS servers. I've already got this server here. You can see the server I'm on is 192.168.1.92. I'll just prove that there. We're going to want that as a DNS server because this is the domain controller that, if you recall, we set up in the other lab. So I'm going to hit yes to activate the scope and hit finish. That's going to start handing out addresses. So let's just see if it works. The issue we ran into before was that, the issue I ran into was I was setting up an RODC and I couldn't talk to DNS. So let's see if it works. Going to log in here. And we're going to just try to renew our IP address to see if we get an IP within that scope. Okay, now that I've explained how to do it, we're just going to see if this works. It's already had an IP address, and I'm going to release the address, and I can't type, but I'm going to do ipconfig and then I can't even do this. Renew, that's what we're doing. Releasing and renewing our IP, just to see if the scope works. It may not, because I may have misconfigured my Hyper-V switch configuration, but I believe I did configure it correctly. As you can see, we just received 192.168.1.10. So that kind of concludes how to set it up. Now we can get into a little more details about this. So I know most people will kind of tune in just to see how to do it. That's why we get it out of the way first, and then now we can relax a little bit and go over some details. So one thing I want to do here is go over the AZ-802 skills, and actually we're going to want to look at what is it? That's right, it's study guide. You want to look at the study guide. This tells you what things to do. So we've already done deploy and manage on-premise AD domain controller. Well, at some point we'll do the one in Azure. I completely forgot about that. I was actually going to do this RODC one, which we'll do next, but before I could do that, as mentioned, I needed to set up a DHCP server. So we're going to scroll down. In fact, I could just use the search. So you can see one of the things we need to do is we need to implement and configure a DHCP server role, which we really just did. We also need to create and manage DHCP scopes, which we did. We could create and manage an IP reservation, and I suppose we can do that. But maybe we'll do that in another video, and in that video we could do high availability. Let's just do it now. No, we'll leave it here. We'll call it here. Okay, so we are going to do a reservation. I changed my mind. So we're going to reserve 10. So I'm back on the domain controller. I'm back in the DHCP scope settings here, and I'm just going to reservations. And I'm going a little fast, but I'm going to reserve 192.168.1.10. What this will do is we'll give this server that address every time. Well, really what it'll do is give something with that MAC address of the server that IP, because that's what we set up. So I need to jump on this server, and we're going to get the MAC address. So I'm just going to pop in here, and then if we do ipconfig all pipe more, I'm going fast, you can slow it down. Physical address, there we go. We're going to grab that, right? And then I'm going to jump over. I don't even know if it's going to copy paste, but we'll try it. We'll try it. Going back in our domain controller, and we're going to pop in the MAC address. Look at that. It worked. So I think you need to take the dashes out. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure. Reservation name, we'll just call it RODC, because that's what it's going to be, an RODC. And I'm just going to add. So that is a reservation. That means every time it tries to get DHCP, it will get that IP. So the failover, we'll do that again in another video. This one is getting a little longer than we probably want, so we'll keep it at that. We can jump into more details at a later time, maybe a later video, maybe more in depth, but that's all we got for today. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.